Our world is just packed with these incredible sights that almost feel, well, magical. They're all governed by the laws of physics, of course, laws we're always trying to understand better. But wow, what a show our planet puts on every single day. So let's dive into some of the absolute strangest and most wonderful phenomena that nature has to offer. Some of these events are they're like rare flashes of pure art. You get this perfect alignment of light and temperature and matter, and suddenly the sky is painted in colors you couldn't even dream up. But then there are the others. The events that seem to just break all the rules, that challenge everything we think we know and leave scientists just scratching their heads. And those are the deep mysteries we're really going to get into today. All right, so let's start with the dazzling stuff. The spectacles that, they're super rare, but they have really clear scientific explanations. This is where we get to pull back the curtain and see exactly how nature pulls off its incredible magic tricks. First up is the fire rainbow. Now, despite that awesome name, it has absolutely nothing to do with fire or even a regular rainbow for that matter. What it is this stunning, vibrant halo, like an iridescent smear across the sky. It's unbelievably rare. So the mission? To figure out the precise recipe needed to create one. And here's the secret sauce. It's a celestial trifecta, really. First, the sun has to be way up there. We're talking higher than 58 degrees in the sky. Second, you need those wispy, high-altitude cirrus clouds. And third, this is the crucial part, the tiny, flat, hexagonal ice crystals inside those clouds have to be aligned perfectly parallel to the ground. They act like one giant collective prism. You miss even one of these conditions and the show's over. Okay, so we're going from something beautiful to something that is terrifyingly spectacular. I mean, we've all seen lightning from a storm cloud, right? But have you ever seen it erupting straight out of a volcano?
Yeah, this is actually a thing. It's called a dirty thunderstorm, and it is pure, raw physics in action. When a volcano erupts, it blasts this massive plume of ash into the air. All those tiny particles of rock and glass start rubbing against each other, building up a crazy amount of static electricity. And the result? A massive discharge, a volcanic lightning bolt that just lights up all that chaos.
Let's wrap up this section by looking at a rainbow's mysterious nocturnal cousin, the moonbow. A regular rainbow, as you know, is painted by direct sunlight. But a moonbow? It's created by the much, much fainter light that's reflected from the moon. And that's exactly why they're so incredibly rare and why they often look like these ghostly white arcs to our eyes, even though technically all the same colors are there.
All right, now we're moving into the realm of the truly intense. These are phenomena so huge, so powerful, they just test the limits of our imagination, even when we have some pretty solid theories about what's actually going on.
I want you to imagine a storm that isn't just a quick event that passes by. Imagine a storm that's a permanent feature of the landscape. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Well, in one very specific spot on Earth, it's totally real.
Welcome to Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, which is home to the Catatumbo lightning. And look, we're not talking about a few flashes here and there. We are talking about up to 280 lightning strikes per hour, for about 10 hours a night, for up to 300 nights a year. It is, without a doubt, the most electric place on the entire planet. So what's the secret? It all comes down to the unique geography of the area. You've got this warm, humid air coming in from the Caribbean that flows across the lake. This air then slams right into the high walls of the Andes Mountains, which surround the lake on three sides. It's got nowhere to go but up, and that forces it to create these colossal, supercharged storm clouds. It's like a perfect, self-sustaining lightning factory.
The sheer consistency of the Catatumbo lightning actually helps us debunk a really common myth that I'm sure we've all heard a million times.
Yeah, we've all been told that lightning never strikes the same place twice. But places like Lake Maracaibo and heck, even the Empire State Building prove that's completely false. Lightning is lazy. It always favors the path of least resistance. So tall or uniquely positioned objects are actually frequent targets. I mean, some people have even been struck by lightning multiple times. Okay, so now we are venturing into the truly weird. These are the phenomena where nature itself seems to bend and twist and just break its own rules in ways that are, well, they're both deeply unsettling and totally fascinating. This is a story of a man-made mistake that turned into an unstoppable natural disaster. Back in 1962, in Centralia, Pennsylvania, a routine fire to clear a landfill accidentally lit an exposed seam of anthracite coal. That fire? is still burning today. It turned a thriving town into a ghost town, with toxic gases seeping from cracks in the earth, and the ground literally opening up under people's feet. An underground fire is one thing, but what on earth could possibly cause an entire forest to grow in a way that just seems to defy gravity itself? Welcome to the Crooked Forest in Poland. Here, about 400 pine trees all grow with this bizarre 90-degree bend at their base, and they all point north. The mission here is just to figure out why. Was it a natural event, like a crazy snowstorm when they were young? Was it man-made, like maybe tanks rolled over them during the war? Or was it intentional? Maybe someone was trying to grow pre-shaped wood for furniture and then just abandoned the project. The truth is, nobody knows for sure.
And now, we arrive at the very edge of our knowledge. These are the phenomena that continue to just baffle scientists, where even our best theories have these major holes in them, and the truth remains completely out of reach.
Yes, you heard me correctly. It's been documented for centuries. A storm will pass, and suddenly the ground is covered in fish, or frogs, or even spiders. It's a real phenomenon known as animal rain. Now, the leading theory seems pretty straightforward, right? A waterspout, or a tornado, passes over a lake or a pond, sucks up all the animals inside, and just deposits them miles away. But this explanation has some huge problems. For starters, why do these rains almost always consist of only a single species? You'd expect a whole mix of stuff, fish, frogs, plants. And how could a delicate little frog survive that violent trip through the sky and still be alive when it lands? It just doesn't quite add up. And finally, we come to perhaps the most ghost-like of all natural phenomena, ball lightning. Eyewitnesses describe this hovering, glowing sphere of light that appears during thunderstorms. They say it can just drift through a room, pass right through solid glass, and then either vanish silently or explode violently. With almost zero photographic evidence and no way to reproduce it in a lab, it remains a complete and total enigma. So, from the explainable, jaw-dropping beauty of a fire rainbow to the deep, deep mystery of ball lightning, these phenomena are a constant reminder that our world is just so much more complex and wondrous than we can possibly imagine. The mission really is, and always will be, to just keep asking questions. You know, every answer we find just leads to more fascinating questions. These mysteries aren't just puzzles to be solved, they're invitations. They're asking us to look closer at the world all around us and to never, ever stop being curious. So, what do you think we're going to figure out next?
Health is the most precious gift. If this video helped you or someone you love, please like, subscribe, and share so more families can stay safe and healthy.